I'm Derek Sebastian. Thank you so much for attending the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center dinner. Have a great evening. Much love. Mahalo again for your support.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center annual fundraising dinner, coming to you live on Zoom. My name is Brian Moto, board president. I want to begin by acknowledging and thanking the young man whose music you just heard, Derek Sebastian. You can visit and hear more of his videos and music by going to his website, dereksebastian.com, dereksebastian.com. My co-MC this evening is Executive Director, Deidre Teagarden.
Thank you, Brian. And ご来賓の皆様、こんばんは。お忙しい中ご参加くださり、誠にありがとうございます。We are truly happy that all of you are joining us tonight via Zoom. We have a great evening planned. And for those of you who like shopping, like me, don't forget to check out our silent auction, which we are also doing virtually this year. You can go to www.32auctions.com/NVMC20. And if you didn't catch that, don't worry, we will follow up with an email. The items this year, again, are extraordinary. We have beautiful items from the Emi Fukuzawa collection, jewelry and artwork. We have miles on Hawaiian Airlines, timeshare points that are good until 2022, pottery, vintage obi, stationery. Literally, there is something for everyone. So we hope you check it out. And in the spirit of being virtual, we will be asking 3 different trivia questions throughout the evening. So we want you to, when Brian gives you the questions, you can put your answer in the little question and answer box at the bottom left of your screen. The first person to answer the trivia correctly will get a lovely gift package from the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. I want to thank Melanie Agribanti for putting together all of the questions. So hope you join us.
Your virtual presence and support means a great deal to all of us here. It demonstrates the importance of our mission, which is to ignite human potential by inspiring people to find the hero in themselves through the legacy of the Nisei veterans. Tonight, we celebrate the heroes among us. One of the jobs of the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center is to honor and perpetuate the legacy of our Nisei veterans, for without them, we would not be here. I want to take a moment to recognize those veterans who are on the call with us this evening. They are Mr. Masao Motooka and Harold Okumura, both of whom served in the Military Intelligence Service. We also want to acknowledge the Korean War Veterans Association of Maui and our Vietnam veterans. We also honor all those veterans who have and continue to serve. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we also honor the memory of all veterans who have died. In a few moments, I will read a brief passage from a poem for the fallen, followed by a moment of silence. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Thank you, Brian. You know, Mayor Victorino and First Lady Joycelyn have been supporters of the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center for many, many years. And in fact, Joycelyn Nakahashi was the 1975 Chrysanthemum Court Queen with a young Mike Victorino as her escort. So we thought it was very appropriate to have this evening be kicked off with a message from Mayor Victorino.
Aloha, this is Mayor Mike Victorino, congratulating our Nisei Veterans Memorial Center and their annual dinner being held November 20th, 2020, but being done by virtual Zoom, by virtual reality. We like to say in these difficult times, we'd like to be together. However, this is not able to happen this year. So just like the Nisei veterans of so many years ago who fought for this country, we have to do things differently. They are here to protect, they were there to protect us. Now we need to protect them. This is all relevant to what the Nisei veterans represent in our community, the hardworking, go for broke attitude. And I'd like to recognize Masao Motooka and Harold Okumura, that they were a big part of all of this. Additionally, I would like to say mahalo to the Korean War Veterans Association of Maui and the Vietnam Veterans Association, who have strived to continue to remember our veterans who served in those wars. Please, if you can participate, November 20th via Zoom, we will have a virtual dinner to honor our Nisei veterans. My wife and I, Joycelyn, would like to make sure that you enjoy the evening, and I'll ask all of Maui County to participate and help our Nisei veterans. I'd like to honor Masao Motooka and Harold Okumura for all what they've done through the years to make sure Maui is a better place. Mahalo to them for all their efforts, for facing up to bigotry and facing up to racial discrimination and standing tall in our community. God bless them, God bless their families. And remember, our Nisei Veterans Annual Dinner, November 20th, via Zoom. Please be there. Aloha and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Victorino. We appreciate all of the support we receive from the Office of the Mayor and the County Council. Tonight would not be possible without the kind and generous support of many businesses and individuals. Please help me recognize our inspiration level sponsors. They include Abbey Carpet of Maui, Arizumi Brothers Incorporated, HouseMart, the Ka'anapali Ocean Resort Charitable Trust, Napa United Auto Parts, Pulama Lanai, Sei Designs, Service Rentals, Munakio Hiraga, VIP Food Service, and Maui Toyota.
And we'd also like to thank our remembrance level sponsors, Goodfellow Brothers Incorporated, Hale Mahaolu, Hamai Appliance, Hawaiian Electric, Mahi Pono, Maui Fresh Streetery, Maui Sons and Daughters of the Nisei Veterans, the Maui News, Maui Oil, Pure Water Specialty Company, Servco Foundation, and TJ's Warehouse. Thank you.
An event like this can't happen without a dedicated team. We thank the many people who volunteered, including event co-chairs Burl Bell, Catherine Yee, and Diane Orikasa. Also, Hawaii Gamma Alpha Delta Kappa chapter, Todd Perkins and Corbin from Hawaii Video Memories, the 2019 Chrysanthemum Court members, Queen Emma Endo, Princesses Kokoro Yamazaki and Lauren Mitra, and Maui Sons and Daughters of the Nisei Veterans. And of course, a huge mahalo to all of you who stuck with us, who placed dinner reservations, picked up your meals, and who are now watching us live on Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a short break to hear from two of tonight's sponsors. When we come back, we will ask the first of our trivia questions.
Imagine shopping for a new car in a friendly environment. A showroom sparkling with quality and reliability, filled with sleek, shiny, irresistible, and affordable must-have vehicles. Yet no high-pressure salespeople, only courteous customer assistance with aloha spirit. This is the reality of Maui Toyota. Come discover the difference. Test drive the new Toyotas at Maui Toyota, 320 Hana Highway, Kahului.
Welcome back. Are you ready for our first trivia question? As many of you know, Go for Broke was the motto of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. What was the motto of the 100th Infantry Battalion? If you know the answer, please enter that answer in the question and answer box on the left-hand portion of your screen, and the first person to answer correctly will win a gift package.
And they are very nice gift packages, so we wish you all luck. You know, this has certainly been a very different year for us. You know, it started off really well with a full schedule of workshops here at the center, but that all changed in March when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. But you know what? Instead of my talking about it, let's watch this short video about our year in review.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our winner. A number of you had the right answer, but the first one to respond correctly was Valerie Matsunaga. Valerie, you are our winner this evening. And the correct answer was, the 100th Battalion motto was, Remember Pearl Harbor. Ladies and gentlemen, it certainly has been a busy year, and it's not over yet here at the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center. We want to ensure that we engage the next generation so that they can learn about and reflect on those Nisei men and their families who sacrificed so much. One such group of young people is the Chrysanthemum Court. The Chrysanthemum Festival is an annual Maui festival of Japanese culture that raises funds for scholarships and for the historical preservation programs of Maui's sons and daughters of the Nisei veterans. Due to COVID-19, unfortunately, the Chrysanthemum Festival in 2020 had to be canceled. However, we are very fortunate in having with us tonight representatives of the 2019 Chrysanthemum Court.
For those of you who purchased dinner packages, you will recognize these three young women, Emma Endo, Kokoro Yamazaki, and Lauren Mitra, as they help to deliver the bentos to your car. Princesses Cassidy Hanano and Alexis Kamara were not able to attend this evening. They are elsewhere doing other princessly duties. Before we call up these ladies to speak though, and as you're watching this video that Todd put together, we wanted to say a huge mahalo to Maui sons and daughters of the Nisei veterans, the Chrysanthemum Court, of course, and members of the Hawaii Gamma Alpha Delta Kappa group for all of their hard work in organizing and orchestrating the bento package delivery today. And how about a hand for TJ's and Maui Fresh Streetery for these amazing bentos? Please give them a little round of applause in your home. And we really want to thank Todd Perkins and Corbin, who were able to put together this video from a little earlier today. We see Roy Katsuda and Mark Mizuno there on the screen, Maui sons and daughters of the Nisei veterans, who I hope are all back home now enjoying their bentos as well. Our Alpha Delta Kappa ladies and Roy Katsuda again. He was very busy. All right, so now back to the dedicated Chrysanthemum Court. We want to take a moment to have each of them introduce themselves to you and tell you a little bit more about what this year has meant to them. So let's begin with Queen Emma Endo. Emma?
Good evening. My name is Emma Endo. I currently attend Baldwin High School as a senior. This year, COVID-19 has shut down Baldwin, so all my classes are online. I am currently taking a Korean class, which will be my 4th language class, ceramics, which creates a huge mess in our garage, and I'm also taking a leadership and AP English course. I'm still heavily involved with Baldwin. Currently, I am the Student Council Vice President. I get to assist in projects that can be done at home, like mask making for the community and making paper flowers to cheer up the residents at Rosalani. I am also working on my Baldwin High School senior project with the help of the Nisei Veterans Center. Although I did not get to experience my junior prom or any events during my senior year, I am still hopeful that we will have an in-person graduation. After high school, I will be attending college, possibly at the University of Portland. I consider myself very lucky to live on Maui, where COVID-19 numbers are very low, and I am blessed that no one in my family has contracted the virus. Due to COVID, my brother has been at home remotely taking his college courses. This allows us to spend more time together as a family. My brother and I are not as busy since everything has shut down, and we are able to enjoy dinner almost every Wednesday with my uncle and grandmother. Overall, many opportunities have been lost due to COVID. I am still happy that I get to spend more time with my family and dogs. Thank you.
Yamazaki, and thank you to Corbin for making sure that we follow all COVID rules, CDC guidelines, and make sure that we wipe down and sanitize the microphone in between our speakers today. So Kokoro, please take it away.
Good evening. My name is Kokoro Yamazaki, and I am a senior at Lahaina Luna High School. In these unprecedented times, I have been adjusting to the new norm by staying at home for most of the times and comply to state protocols. Currently, I'm taking a phlebotomy course, which helped me to improve my understanding in biological research and inspired my course selection for college. Working with these experts has established interpersonal relationships across the island. I'm also looking forward to become a certified phlebotomist once I turn 18 in August. After high school, I plan to study biology at UH Manoa with an intent to attend medical school in the future. Although the COVID-19 crisis has taken away my ideal vision as a senior, I'm glad I'm able to spend most of my last year of high school with my family. Throughout this pandemic, I hope to take every opportunity I can to help my community. Thank you.
Kokoro, wow, what a story. Thank you very, very much. We're so glad that you are here with us tonight. And finally, let's hear from Ms. Lauren Mitra.
Hi, my name is Lauren Mitra. I'm a senior at Maui High School, and I've had some interesting experiences with COVID-19. Soccer has been a huge part of my life. So at the ending of my sophomore year, I verbally committed to a school to play college soccer. And just a few weeks before COVID hit, I found out that my coach's contract was not being renewed, which meant my scholarship was no longer on the table. So with that happening and COVID hitting, I think that recruitment has been very hard because we weren't able to travel or go to tournaments, soccer ID camps, anything like that. And with protocols being 6 feet apart, it was really hard to train and adapt to those new, practice environments. So with recruitment being all virtual, it was hard to have coaches email me back or be interested in seeing me play in person because we weren't able to. So because all flights were shut down, I was not able to go to ID camps, which made it hard. But luckily, I was able to commit to a new school. And although it's been a huge roller coaster, I managed to learn that I should really appreciate the times that we had before this pandemic hit. Thank you.
You know, what an incredible year these three women have had, and all of our students out there. And we thank them for just persevering and making the best of a difficult situation. And I'm sure I speak for everybody on this Zoom call that the future is in very good hands with individuals like these ladies. We're going to take a short break to hear from two more of tonight's sponsors. And when we come back, we will have another trivia question followed by the presentation of our Hero Award.
We're your local grocer that grew up right along with you. Our managers are from Maui, raised on the same foods you know and love. That's why you'll always find a wide variety of local and ethnic brands for family recipes, as well as fresh produce, select quality meats, and an entire aisle for gatherings. Cooking family meals is affordable with Maui's locally owned grocer. Island Grocery Depot, for what's cooking on Maui.
Who is HouseMart?
HouseMart is a locally owned company that's been around for over 64 years, serving all of Hawaii's communities.
You probably know us better as Hawaii's favorite craft store, Ben Franklin Crafts.
Or as the Ace Hardware stores on Kauai, Maui, and Hawaii Island.
We've been helping generations of Hawaii's families get what they need for their craft and DIY projects.
And we plan on helping you for generations to come.
So, mahalo Hawaii for supporting our family of HouseMart stores.
Welcome back. It's trivia question time again. And this is the question. What late statesman was a member of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, Company E, Easy Company? If you know the answer, please type your answer in the Q&A box on the lower left of your screen. And while we're receiving the responses, let me introduce our next segment. It is now time for our Hero Award. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our newest board member, Rochelle Owe, who works at Sei Design. She will share information on the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center Hero Award.
At a luncheon in 1952, Club 100 veterans adopted the term for continuing service. Having served their nation in war, the veterans sought to continue the tradition of service to their communities, state, and country. On every island, veterans engaged their communities, making the islands a better place for all. On Maui, for continuing service, was one of the inspirations for building the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center as a living memorial to provide service to the community in perpetuity. A few years ago, to help recognize the positive impact of Maui's best, the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center established the Hero Awards to recognize those current-day heroes who continue to serve their community. Tonight, we recognize an individual who stepped up to the plate at the beginning of COVID with the leadership style of the Nisei veterans. Sponsored by HouseMart, please help me welcome board member Peter Hanano and Nisei Veteran Memorial Center research archivist Melanie Agrabante to present the award.
When COVID-19 hit earlier this year and the shutdown mandates came, his chef friends began calling him, saying that they had all this food, it was going to go bad. They asked if he could help. Kawakami, the owner of Maui Fresh Streetery, and his entire family answered that call with a resounding yes. Using social media to get the word out, he and his family started packing up bags of food to give to anyone in need. He then pivoted his Pay It Forward program, seeding it with $500. He took all tips received and put it towards feeding Maui kupuna. By mid-July, Big Red had made 3,000 kupuna meals. A fourth-generation Japanese American, Kyle always has the values of compassion, service, and finding strength through adversity close to his heart. A true leader who made COVID-19 a little less easier to handle for our most vulnerable. Please welcome Mr. Kyle Kawakami, owner of Maui Fresh Streetery and Big Red.
Are we recording? Are we virtual? We are virtual. We are live. Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much. What an honor to be recognized by the Nisei Veterans Center with this award. You know, growing up as a Japanese American and fourth generation here on Maui, the Nisei were kind of this mythical heroes that we heard about, and we heard about their dedication and their commitment to the cause at the time. And, you know, I reflected upon that last night and thought about my own journey. And although nowhere near as impactful, I look towards those people of the past for guidance in what we do, and they not only did it for the country, but they did it for their families and for their community. And I think a lot of what we do is along the same lines. Food has always been a big part of what we do, and it's always been a way for me to connect with my culture. Growing up as a fourth generation, I didn't have Japanese school, so, you know, food was a way to connect, whether it be at Obon or New Year's, pounding mochi, and that was my connection. And so when we started the food truck, Maui Fresh Streetery, 7 years ago, we really wanted to be part of the community and be part of Maui County, not just a fly-by-night food truck or a restaurant that is selling food. And we looked at it and said, how can we connect with our community? And we decided we're going to donate all of our tips. And I told my staff, hey, we're going to take the tips that people leave us, and we're going to find nonprofits. And every month we're going to find a nonprofit here on Maui, whether it be a school nonprofit, a family in need, children fighting cancer. And we're going to donate those tips. And we started something called the Aloha Tip Jar. I'm going to put this down for just a second because I actually brought my visual So I actually brought my Aloha tip jar. This is it. It's an old candy jar, and the lid is broken, and it still sits out in front of our food truck. And this sat out from day one, and it started off, and we collected tips for those in need. And at last count, going on 7 years, I think, not including what we've done during the pandemic, but this little jar has seen, I want to say, about $175,000 in going through this jar that we've donated to various nonprofits. And so when the pandemic hit in March, we looked and we figured, well, we're not going to be able to really put the jar out because we're going to socially distance from our customers. So how can we make an impact? And we did something called the Pay It Forward, where people could donate either virtually through Venmo. They would still leave tips at a distance. And we recognized that the people in need were our senior citizens, our kupuna. And there was a big need because they were the most at risk, socially isolated, a lot of times not getting the services that they need. And so we decided to start the Aloha Tip Jar, Pay It Forward towards that and start doing meals. And currently we're going on week 38. So we started right around this time in March. I think week 38, and we've just surpassed, I want to say, 4,200 some odd meals that have gone out to our senior citizens throughout Maui County. And really, it's not just myself. This award is wonderful, but it really is a reflection of our community. It's a reflection of my customers, my guests, because without them and their support and continued patronage, we wouldn't be able to do any of it. So this award goes out to them as well. I'm just a small part of it, and really part of a bigger picture here in Maui County. And we're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together. We can't impact everything in the nation, but we can definitely make an impact here in Maui County. And so thank you very much. It's an honor to receive this, and have a nice evening. Thank you for all of your support for the Nisei Veteran Center.
Thank you, Kyle, and congratulations. And really, mahalo for all that you do for you, your family, your entire family is a part of this. And thank you for those gracious words. It is definitely a community effort. So thank you. And thank you again for the delicious chirashi bowls, both vegan and regular fish, as well as the okonomiyaki tonight. We appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody else does as well. Before we take a break, we wanted to let you know that a lot of people knew that the answer to that last trivia question was, of course, the late United States Senator Daniel Inouye. The first person to write in was Mark Mizuno. So Mark, the next time you're here cutting the grass, be sure to stop by and pick up your award. It's a lovely little gift basket. So again, thank you all for being a part of that. Thank you again to Kyle Kawakami for everything you do for our community. You really inspire all of us. At this time, we're going to take a short break to hear from a few more of our sponsors, and then we will be right back with our keynote speaker, Mr. Alton Takiyama-Chung.
Remember the days of good service?
Hello? Hello?
Glad for reliable purchases?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
At Hawaii Appliance, we never forgot. Stop in at Hawaii Appliance Kahului for great deals on top household appliances. Discover the name brands you know, alongside real people with answers to your questions. All with the top-notch service and delivery unlike any other on Maui. Hawaii Appliance. For nearly 50 years, the people you can trust.
The perfect floor starts at your locally owned Abbey Carpet and Floor showroom. Personalized service, expert assistance, incredible selection, free estimates, professional installation. We'll pamper your home from start to finish. We know our neighbors because we are your neighbor.
Locally owned Abbey Carpet of Maui has been serving the Maui community for over 25 years.
Aloha, race fans. Follow me, Ron Capps, as I race for the NHRA Championship.
All right, welcome back. Very interesting doing this all virtually. We thank you all for being with us. You know, originally we were planning on having our guest speaker come out over to Maui to speak with us live at the Maui Beach Hotel. But of course, the situation is what it is. And we are still very, very lucky to have him via Zoom live, a little bit different, but equally exciting. And it's just been lovely working with him. So please, our intro of Alton Chung. Japanese and Korean storyteller Alton Takiyama-Chung grew up with the stories, superstitions, and the magic of the Hawaiian Islands. This really gives him a unique perspective when telling cultural tales and personal stories of growing up in Hawaii, stories of the World War II Japanese Americans, Asian folk tales, and ancient Hawaiian legends. He was awarded the National Storytellers Network's first J.J. Renault Emerging Artist Award in 2005. Performances have included the Timpanogos Storytelling Festival in Utah, the Cayman Islands Gimme Storytelling Festival, Singapore's Congress of Asian Storytellers, international storytelling festivals in Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, and India. He has also been the teller in residence at the International Storytelling Center and a featured teller at the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee. His DVD, Life is the Treasure, Okinawan Memories of World War II, and CDs, Tales from the Lanai and Coming to Gold Mountain, all won Storytelling World honors. He is also the former chairman of the board of directors for the National Storytelling Network. We are so looking forward to his presentation tonight. Heroes, the story of the 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team, and the Takijiro Hiro story. Please help me give a very warm Maui virtual welcome to Mr. Alton Takiyama-Chung. Welcome.
Thank you so very much. I'm so pleased to be able to go and be here with all of you tonight. It's a great honor, and I really appreciate this opportunity. So let us begin. 9,486 Purple Hearts, 4,000 Bronze Stars, 1,200 with oak leaf clusters for a second award, 15 Soldiers Medals, 22 Legions of Merit, 560 Silver Stars, 28 with oak leaf clusters, 1 Distinguished Service Medal, 32 Distinguished Service Crosses, 21 Medals of Honor, and 7 Presidential Unit Citations, 5 which were earned in 1 month. Almost 18,000 awards. The 100th Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team is one of the most highly decorated units in U.S. military history. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, veterans, and honored guests. We're gathered here tonight to dedicate this fine monument to the most distinguished all-Japanese American combat unit. The Japanese have a saying, Okage sama de. I am what I am because of you. This story is about honor. The story is about gratitude. Our next speaker is a highly decorated member of that illustrious band of brothers who fought with courage and distinction across the battlefields of Italy and France in World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Toshiro Abe.
Thank you.
This is a fine monument to the 100th Battalion and 442 boys. I wish my brother Kenji could have been here tonight. He really would love this monument and all the fine things that people have said tonight. The organizers asked me to say a few words of what it was like to be part of the 442. Normally, I don't talk about this kind of stuff, but they would ask, so indulge an old man. I remember. It was like yesterday, December 7th, 1941. It was Sunday, yeah? And just before 8 o'clock in the morning, the radio announcer came on the radio and said, "This is not a test. Pearl Harbor is being bombed by the Japanese." Oh. My whole family, we went outside and looked toward Pearl Harbor. We see the thick black smoke rising up in the sky. And then every now and then get a rumbling like thunder. And then we see, coming out of the smoke, these 3 planes, dove gray, big red border, rising sun of Japan on their wings, coming low and fast. They're flying so low. I can see the faces of the pilots. They look like me. I was 20 years old. My kid brother Kenji, 18. After a few months, they formed the 100th Battalion separate. Mostly from volunteers from the old Hawaiian Territorial Guard. They call themselves the One Puka Puka. Puka is pidgin for zero or hole, yeah? Because the 100th Battalion would do so good in basic training, the government created the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. And there's all the Nisei, all the second-generation Japanese Americans. Come volunteer. Almost 10,000 guys from Hawaii would go volunteer. All our friends think volunteering so. Me and Kenji, we sign up too. More guts than brains, huh? When Mama found out, she went getting mad. And then she go cry. Dad never say nothing. Well, then came the day we have to go say goodbye. Mama, she pulled me aside. She make me swear I gotta take care of my kid brother Kenji. I the eldest. He my responsibility. Yada, yada, yada. You know how mamas can be, yeah? Well, Dad, he's driving us to the induction center. We stay driving. And all of a sudden he say, "This country been good to us. Give me a job. Give you boys education. If it comes to it, you must give your life for it. So be it. But do so with honor. Don't bring shame to our family." Me and Kenji had to go mainland for basic training. I was seasick the whole 5 days of the journey. I think I would have died if Kenji never played nursemaid for me. Bring me juice, bring me cracker. I tell you, I was so happy to go see the Golden Gate Bridge. Because meant we're going to get off the ship pretty soon. We get off the ship in Oakland, California, and we jump on a train for the long journey to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Camp Shelby. My first impression, Camp Shelby. The water smell funny kind. Tastes like rust. The barracks, hammer-jang, leaky roofs, sloping floors, windows with no more glass. And even though it was April, Kenji complained how cold he was. He always complained how cold he was. That is, until summertime came. Then was 115 degrees in the shade, 100% humidity. Basic training, Camp Shelby, was terrible for us guys from Hawaii. Because was the first time we have to deal with things like snakes, poison ivy, and chiggers. Chiggers, these tiny, these manine kind mites that like make you feel itchy all over. And they like congregate in the tight-fitting kind places. You know what I mean. The remedy for chiggers, they said, was sulfur. Whoo! Our hut will smell like rotten eggs every night. Kenji gonna make everybody laugh by pretending he's farting, yeah? And telling fart jokes. Hey, bro, come here. Hey, pull my finger. Those katonks, the mainland Japanese boys, they call us guys from Hawaii Buddha heads. But then again, we wouldn't call them katonks, because that's the sound the empty heads go make when hitting the floor. Katonk. Oh, they stay pale like shark bait. And they talk the perfect kind English. They thought themselves as being reserved. We thought them as being stuck up. And they go make fun of us guys talking pidgin. You know, chop suey language, Hawaiian, Japanese all mixed up inside. Plenty friction between the katonks and us Buddha heads. Finally, Chaplain Yamada goes, hey, you boys from Hawaii, you better go see where these boys from the mainland state coming from. So he organized this trip from this visit to Camp Jerome and Camp Roar in Arkansas. We kind of figured, oh, these like towns with Japanese families inside. Well, we show up, we get on the bus, we get our ukuleles, we get our guitars, we kanikapila, we sing, we play music all the way from Mississippi to Arkansas. We're getting kind of close. We look out, we say, hey, we can see the guard towers, barbed wire. We said, hey, must be coming up to this, military base. But we get closer. We start looking around, say, hey, this is not one military base. This one concentration camp. We see the Haole guards, the Caucasian guards standing there, full uniform, rifles, bayonets. We get ukuleles. We look behind the barbed wire. Oh, we see men, women, children. All look like us. These people living in these flimsy, wooden tar paper shacks. No more privacy. And yet, these people, no more nothing. And they welcome us with open arms. These people, they save their food rations for a whole week just so they could throw us a little party. I mean, we try to be happy. But how are you going to be happy like that? We felt so guilty. On the ride back to Camp Shelby, we all quiet. We all thinking the same thing. Would I have volunteered for the 442 if my parents was in a place like that? I get back to camp, I tell all my friends what I saw. Oh, gain a whole new respect for the Katonks. Huh? We look at them with new eyes, and they welcomed us to the truth. After that, 442 became united, like when clenched fist. You know, us guys from Hawaii, oh, we love gamble. And when you're shooting craps, throwing dice, to bet everything on one roll of dice, all or nothing, it's called go for broke. We knew that the self-respect to all Japanese Americans here and at home was riding with us. And we held the dice. What we intended to do for that dice, that became our motto. Go for broke. Well, after a year of basic training, and actually we sitting there and we reading about, the 100th Battalion. And after a year basic training, we set sail for Italy in 1944. Again, I think I would have died if Kenji never played nursemaid for me. Oh, we finally pull up in a dock in Naples, Italy. And in our bivouac area, I finally see my first inkling of what true war is all about. I saw men and women going through our garbage to eat our slop. Like I said, back in Camp Shelby and on the way back over to Italy, we're reading about the 100th Battalion. These guys, in the Battle of Belvedere, they won a Presidential Unit Citation. It's like everybody, the whole unit, get the Distinguished Service Cross. That's like the second highest medal you can get for a valor in combat, just below the Medal of Honor. So many guys got wounded in the 100th that they were known as the Purple Heart Battalion. We read about the terrible losses in Monte Cassino and how these guys were ordered to halt outside the gates of Rome to let some other troops be the first one inside the city. Shigatakanai, not gonna help. 100th became part of the 442 in June 1944. All the 100th Battalion guys told us, hey, you be veterans too, you survived the first 5 minutes of war. First time in battle. Scary, Oh, I saw my first dead body 5 feet away from me. That's when I went, hey, these guys, they're serious. You can die out here. I remember one day, my friend Masa and I, we were sitting by the side, sitting on the side of the road, just talking story. I mean, the Germans were shooting these things called airbursts. The shells explode midair. It's hitting about 100 yards away. Nothing to worry about. We're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, Masa, he stopped talking. Look up at him. Eyes open, lit cigarette in his hand. I shake him. He fall down. I examine him. Piece of shrapnel. Hit him in the neck. Close his eyes, put out his cigarette. Then we had to go. War is ugly. You see, destruction of homes and cities, maiming of adults and children. First you think, I no can shoot nobody. Then your buddies on either side of you get hit. You get freaking mad. But the worst thing is, you never know when gonna be your time. One of the worst times for me. On patrol, coming up to this Italian farmhouse, about 30 yards away. This German machine gun in the window of that farmhouse open up on us. Oh, cut one guy almost in half. The rest of us always hit the ground. The guy with the bazooka drop around right inside the window. We run inside the farmhouse, find 2 dead Germans, but a 3rd German been blown back against the back wall. His legs all twisted, mangled. He's muttering something in German. And then he reaches inside of his tunic. I thought this was war. I thought he was going for a gun. I had one chance to make the right choice. So I fired my gun into his chest. That's when his hand came out of his tunic. It held a photograph. Beautiful young woman, 2 small children. After that, we got transferred to the Vosges Mountains in northeastern France. We arrived in the town of Brière and began fighting house to house. And after we liberated the towns of Brière, Bifontaine, and Belmont, we were pretty beat up. So they promised us a nice long rest in the town of Belmont. Our nice long rest ended a day and a half later. We were ordered to rescue the 1st Battalion of the 141st Regiment, the Alamo Regiment from Texas. These guys had been surrounded by Germans for the last 5 days and were in danger of being wiped out. All the other troops they sent to try and rescue them got thrown back. So it was up to us to save the 275 men of the lost battalion. We started out 4 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. It was so dark, you had to put your hand on the backpack of the guy in front of you to keep him falling off the trail. It was raining, it was cold, so cold your hands hurt. The sticky mud was ankle deep. I mean, we're finding up these heavily wooded slopes, these narrow ridges. I mean, the undergrowth was so thick. I mean, you could only see maybe a dozen yards. We never saw daylight the whole time we were out there. I mean, the rain filled our foxholes. Our feet were always wet. A lot of guys came down with trench foot. That's when because your feet wet, they swell up and they hurt. Hard for run and fight when your feet hurt like that. Me and Kenji, we had trench foot. We also suffered from exposure, lack of sleep, because every night, no matter how tired you are, you got to dig a new foxhole, then you got to look for pieces of wood or branches to put over your foxhole so you can survive the German shelling. Toward the end of the second day, Sniper got this kid named Benny, nice kid from Kauai. He was wounded and he kind of fell into this little depression at the base of this slope. Every time we get up and try to go get him, Germans on the top of the slope would open up on us. After the sun went down, we couldn't even see him. About midnight, he started calling. Okasan! Okasan! Calling for his mama. Every time we try to get out and try to get him, no matter how quiet we are, Germans open up on us. Nothing we can do. Just before dawn, he stopped. All kinds of stuff run through your mind at a time like that. I'm thinking about all the stuff I would do to make Mama mad. I wondered if I would ever be able to go home and see her again. I mean, I wanted to see her. Kind of make up all the bad stuff I would do for her. We never had fresh food. The whole time we were out there, we ate these things called K-rations. Had a piece of ham and cheese and dried coffee and chocolate bar inside this wax box, wax paper box. And, you know, Kenji and I figured out that the cheese tastes more better if you heat them up over the burning K-ration box. So one day, we're having our K-ration lunch and this German barrage started up. You know, shells falling everywhere. One landed almost on top of us. Oh, throw dirt everywhere, make our ears ring. We just kind of hunkered down. And after the barrage stopped, we look at the other guy and we see the other guy's okay. I take one look at Kenji. I bust out laughing. His eyes get big as he kind of reaches up to his face and all he feels is hot, wet, mushy pulp. His eyes went even more big when I reach over, pick off what's on his face, and eat him. That hot melted cheese splashed all over his face. Oh, we had a good laugh over that one. Now, the thing that we feared the most when we're in the Vosges Mountains is these things called tree bursts. See? I mean, the trees are so thick that when the German 88mm shells came flying in, He hit the tops of the trees and exploded. Just rained down shrapnel and wood splinters. In basic training, they said, oh, when you get barrage, best thing to do is lay flat on the ground. But in the Vosges Mountains, no. The best thing you can do is go hug a tree. Yeah. We knew that those tea patches, those Texans, they couldn't last very much longer. So they kept pushing ahead. That afternoon, the whole squad got hit with German barrage. I mean, tree bursts going off all over the place. Me and Kenji, we run for the nearest big tree. I get up to the tree, I make myself real small. I can hear the debris pinging off my helmet. And when the barrage stopped, I look around for Kenji, but hey, he's not there with me. I look around, there he is. About 5 yards back in this little depression, sitting there holding his stomach, his eyes all glassy. I run up to him, I take him in my arms. He say he's sorry, but he don't run so good because his feet hurt. And that's when I realize I can see blood dripping down from between his fingers as he's trying unsuccessfully to hold his guts in. You say he pity me because mama gonna give me dirty lickings because I supposed to take care of him. He smiled, and blood starts trickling down from the corner of his mouth. He say he cold. He say he tired of being cold. And after a while, the medic crawl up, and I let Kenji down. The medic look at me, look at Kenji. He reach over, close Kenji's eyes. No worry. We take care of him now. Nothing can hurt him. When I look up, whole squad standing around me. We gonna make him pay. Nobody said nothing. Everybody just nod. We had to go. Next day, we're pinned down at the base of this slope. Get like 5 German machine gun nests up there, shooting down upon us. Then I see this officer, this lieutenant colonel. He pull out his pistol. He say, "Infantry, charge!" Nobody move. Then I see this one guy. He stand up. He start yelling, start cursing, start charging up the slope, shooting his gun. Sometimes in battle, this madness descends and you do stuff that don't make sense. I look around, see other guys, they're standing up. So I stand up too. I was tired, I was cold, I was hungry, I hurt. And they were gonna pay it. So we start running from tree to tree. Pretty soon, all of us, we all running up the slope. We all charging. We attacking. I'm yelling and I'm cursing and I'm shooting my gun. I'm throwing my grenades. People are falling left and right, and I'm charging up the slope and I'm yelling. I'm yelling for the people back in the camps. I'm yelling for my friends who died in the mud. I'm yelling for Betty calling for his Okasa. I'm yelling for my mom. I'm yelling for my dad. I'm yelling for Kenji. And I'm yelling for me. Ah! Get up to the top of the slope. It's quiet. Except for the moans of the wounded or the dying. I mean, the whole slope is just covered with bodies of Germans and Nisei. I see movement to my right. I look down. It's a badly wounded German soldier. It's just a boy. Starts calling for his mama. I kneel down. I give him some water from my canteen. But the water just comes out through a hole in his neck. screams for his mama, shudders, and dies. Next day, working away up the slope, I see this guy behind a tree. I could have sworn he was a German. But when he stand up, he's dressed like a GI. He's dressed like me. We had found the lost battalion. We walk up to the guy, his lip is quivering, tears are rolling down his face. He's just watching all these Japanese American guys just kind of materializing like ghosts out of the mist. It's an emotionally charged moment. I mean, what you gonna say to a guy like that? Then my buddy come up and say, "Hey, wanna smoke?" All these Texans, all these tea patches come boiling out of their foxhole. Oh, they're shaking our hands, they're slapping our backs, they're hugging us. We're so tired. We're just exhausted. We're like walking zombies. I remember walking through their camp, and there's this one wounded soldier. He's in his foxhole. He's emptying his canteen. Looks like he's pouring out hot chocolate. It was muddy water. That's all they had for drink. So I gave the man my canteen. Tears started rolling down his dirty face. Even though we'd saved 211 Texans, we had to continue to fight for several more days to finally drive the Germans off the ridges until we finally relieved. We had arrived in Briere with like 3,000 guys. Yeah? After 24 days later, 160 of us were dead. Over 800 of us were wounded. And 43 were missing in action. We also had amassed an unprecedented 5 presidential unit citations. But I never think about any of that stuff. I still had a job to do and a promise to keep. I found the chaplain and asked him if he would conduct a funeral service for Kenji. A bunch of us got a truck and we drove down to Epinal. There are thousands of bodies over there. We finally found him. We were standing around these German prisoners of war. They were helping with grave registration. They offered to help carry Kenji to his final resting place. I refused. So angry with them. We were finally able to get Kenji a nice place, middle of the field, under the sun, where it could be warm. At the end of the service, the chaplain led us in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven. And those German boys got down on their knees and began praying with us. Unser Vater, der im Himmel ist. After that, we had to get back in the truck. Go back. You know, those German boys began praying with us. I want to go over there and punch them in their face. I mean, how dare they say prayers over my brother? Maybe they're the ones that helped kill him, huh? I've been thinking about that all these years. Now, I realize we're saying our Father. Not my Father. Not Japanese Father, not American Father, not German Father, but our Father. We all stay human, huh? In a way, we all stay brothers. Now I'm a little ashamed that I never let those German boys help carry Kenji to his final resting place. Yeah, you never like come here listen to old man talk story. Yeah, I'm sorry for boring you, but the story is important. They tell us who we are. Oh, I'd like to thank the organizers for the celebration and for this fine monument. My brother Kenji would love this monument and all this big ceremony and everything. Yeah, he'd really appreciate it. You know, they asked me to be here today because they wanted a real life hero at this ceremony. But I gotta tell you, I'm no hero. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got to come home. The real heroes are the ones who we left over there. Now, I understand that there are a couple MIS veterans in the audience tonight, and I'd like to dedicate this next story, Takajiro Higa's story, to them, because this is, you know, the story of the Military Intelligence Service. Over 7,000 Nisei, second-generation Japanese Americans, served in the Military Intelligence Service in the Asia-Pacific theater during World War II. They served in combat behind enemy lines, as translators, and also as interrogators. They are credited with bringing the war in the Pacific to a quicker conclusion. Now, the final battle in the Pacific was on the island of Okinawa. It's about 350 miles southwest of the main islands of Japan. Now, the capture of Okinawa with its 4 strategic airfields would make it the ideal base for the final invasion of the main islands of Japan. The 3-month-long battle for Okinawa would claim the lives of over 240,000 Americans, Japanese, and Okinawans, and leave the island devastated. Our next speaker is a distinguished member of the Military Intelligence Service. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Takajiro Higa. Hi. I was born in Waipahu, Hawaii, but when I was 2, my mama take me, my brother, my sister to go visit our grandparents in Okinawa. About 3 years later, my father traveled from Hawaii to Okinawa to take us back Hawaii. But my mama was sick, so it was decided that my father take my older brother and my sister back Hawaii with him, and I stay with my mama until she was more better. Well, that was the last time I saw my father. 6 years later, in 1 year, both my mother, my father, and both my grandparents all dead. Makidai dead, gone. I was 12 years old, and I was orphaned. But lucky for me, I was adopted by my uncle, who brought me up as like his own son. I grew up in Shimabuku village in Okinawa. At home, I spoke Uchinoguchi, Okinawan language. But at school, no. Only standard Japanese. You get in big trouble, you speak Uchinoguchi in school. Then come 1939, I turned 16. And I write my sister, hey, I like going back Hawaii. Because, see, Japan had been drafting all these young, able-bodied men to go fight in Manchuria. I don't want to go fight Manchuria. So I wrote my sister, bring me back Hawaii. So when I finally get back to Hawaii, I don't know one word of English. The first English word I learned was the F word. And my cousin come and visit me one day, and I greet her with the F word. I thought meant, hello, how are you? I never used the word again until I joined the Army. See, after Pearl Harbor, my brother and I, we decided to go volunteer for the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. They took him. Never take me, I don't know why. Then about a month later, I get this letter telling me that they're organizing this new unit of Japanese language soldiers for the Military Intelligence Service, MIS, and to serve in the Pacific. Would I be willing to serve? Pacific. What if I came face to face with one of my relatives or one of my classmates? Could I shoot them? Yet, I want to prove I'm a good American. I want to serve. So I finally decided to join the Military Intelligence Service. I graduate Military Intelligence Service School in 1943. And my older brother, he transferred from the 442 into the Military Intelligence Service. And both of us, we get shipped to Leyte Island in the Philippines. By that time, I was sergeant. And I get nickname, Junior. See, my older brother, he get Howley name, Warren. Me, I get Takajiro. Howley officers cannot pronounce my name. Tucker. Hey, you got an older brother, don't you? From now on, you're Junior Higa. Junior. Oh, and I get my own personal bodyguard, Captain Fernandez. See, someone finally realized that they cannot, tell me apart, maybe from the enemy. So to prevent me being shot by my own side, I get Captain Fernandez. Howley escort officer. And one day, the colonel called me up on the phone. Now, Junior, why don't you head on down to G2 headquarters right away? G2 headquarters, military intelligence. I go, okay. I show up at the tent. I walk in the tent. Oh, it's like someone threw a big bucket of ice water on top of my head. Because there's a big blow-up map of the southern half of Okinawa. Now, Junior, I understand you spent some time there in Okinawa. Yes, sir, 14 years. Well, the G2 officer, he asked me, where my grandfather's village was. And so I kind of point the general direction. He looks through these big blow-up photographs and he shows me one. I look, oh, good. They show Shimabuku village. I can see my grandfather's house, my auntie, uncle house. Oh, good. Everybody's house still intact. Oh, I'm relieved. Then he showed me this other picture. Oh, Island seems to be fortified. I look at the picture. Huh? Look at all them gun emplacements. No, Chigao. You're mistaken. No, this is not gun emplacements. This haka, family tombs. See, Okinawans don't believe in burial, don't believe in cremation. They put body in haka. Haka is shaped like a woman's womb. Entrance is where baby come out. After that, they make me part of the planning team for the invasion of Okinawa. Oh, I cannot sleep. Oh, I'm dreaming about my relatives, or even my schoolmates. I mean, the last thing I want to do is hurt the people with whom I grew up. Oh. Come the day of the invasion, I'm looking at the familiar coastline of Okinawa, tears running down my face. We land in Okinawa, about a mile from where I used to go play with my friends on the beach. But Okinawa, all different now. Mountains, big bare patches, no more trees. And all the fields are dotted with burning farmhouses and bodies of farm animals all over the place. Oh, Maki died dead. All I can do is weep. I remember once I was walking up this narrow road and I see movement in the ditch next to the road. Oh, I jump back. Oh, I hear my car beam. And I walk slowly back up there and I said, okay, come out. Whoever you are. I meant to speak in Uchi Noguchi, but I have no idea what came out of my mouth. Nobody moving. So I start squeezing my trigger. Then suddenly I see this leg come out. Skinny kind leg. No can be GIs. And this old woman stand up. Clothes all dirty. And she's got this young girl, 5, 6 years old with her. She tell me the whole family running up to the hills, but the grandmother cannot keep up. So she and the granddaughter decided to stay and hide in the ditch. To this day, I'm so glad I didn't pull my trigger. I think I would have gone crazy had I shot this old lady. One day, Captain Fernandez and I, we're driving back to HQ. All of a sudden, we see this Japanese man running away from us. We think, hey, maybe he's a Japanese officer. We jump out of the Jeep, go chasing up after him. Now, he ducks into a Okinawan farmhouse. Now, at the time, Okinawan farmhouse get pig pen. You run inside, there's a pig pen, and right next to the pig pen is a cesspool. Not too wide, but kind of deep. I run inside the Okinawan farmhouse. I see the pig pen. And right next to it, I see this pool, dirty looking water. I know what is. I know jump. Captain Fernandez come running inside. Him, he don't know. He jump. He miss. We had to go burn his fatigues. Well, one day, a couple of Japanese soldiers got captured. They're taken down to HQ. I was come down to HQ, interrogate these guys. So I walk in there. I see these poor guys dressed in rags, just shredded clothes. I go, oh, these poor buggers. Okay. I start with the question, what's your name? What's your rank? What's your serial number? I recognize the names. I look at the guys. Hey, these guys, they're my classmates. What village you guys come to? What school you guys went to? Yeah, sure enough, they're my classmates. Was there a teacher named Shonsu in your school? Yeah, there was. But how you know that? Oh, I graduated from United States Military Intelligence School. I know everything about you guys, so no lie to me. Was there a guy named Takajiro Higa in your class? Yeah, there was. Yeah, but he went Hawaii. He went Hawaii a long time. We don't see him for a long time. I look at them and say, you know, recognize your own classmate. These guys, they look at me. And then they start to cry. What you guys doing? They tell me that they thought after we finish interrogating them, we take them to the other side of the hill, shoot them. They see me, they think maybe they get chance. That hit me hard. I mean, if I didn't go Hawaii when I was 16, maybe I'd be sitting there with them, with someone else asking me questions. Huh? Even to this day, I think about it. I get chicken skin. After that, the three of us, we just grab each other's shoulders. Have ourselves a good cry. There are a lot of natural caves in Okinawa. Huh? And thousands of Okinawan civilians and Japanese soldiers all hidden them all over the island. Eh? And many believe the Japanese propaganda that Americans, after capturing you, go and torture you, kill you, maybe even eat you. Many decided to commit seppuku, suicide, rather than being captured. So they asked me to come down and try and coax some of these Japanese soldiers and Okinawans to surrender from the caves. So I get down there, I get out my bullhorn, And I start asking them to surrender. I tell them who I am, and who my parents were, and even though I was born in Hawaii, I was born and raised in Okinawa. Grew up and went to school here in Okinawa. And the Americans, well, they're not as bad as they've been led to believe, for the most part. And I say the same thing over again in Uchinoguchi. Now, in one of the caves, get like 200 people, all in groups like 10, 15 people. Each group get hand grenade. They can kill themselves rather than surrender. Outside the cave, they hear me and decide to surrender. At least that's the way Mrs. Tawada remembered it. 50 years later, this old woman come up to me and say, "Because of you, I am here today." Although I was involved in Okinawan invasion from the very beginning, I never fired one shot. I used my bullhorn, my notebook, and my voice to help the people with whom I grew up.
Alton, thank you so much. That was emotional, very special, and definitely a very appropriate tribute to our Nisei soldiers. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. For those of you who are watching, we do have a selection of Alton's DVDs here at the center. They are available for a donation of $20. So if you are interested in purchasing one, please give us a call here at the center and we will make sure to get you one. Again, thank you so much, Alton. I think we have one trivia question left. And of course, if you were listening closely to Alton's story about the military intelligence service, I think you will get this answer. But what unit was credited with shortening the war in the Pacific by 2 years? We will give the prize to the first person who answers correctly. While we are waiting, you know, I want to say I feel very 21st century doing our annual dinner via Zoom this year, although I must admit, I really miss, and I know we all really miss, not seeing you in person. And we are hopeful and confident that next year we can all be together again, where we can actually see each other. For those of you who did win the trivia this evening, just call our office. We will make arrangements to get everything to you. It doesn't seem that anyone is responding to the last question, although maybe if we go, there we go. Let's see, Wally Camp. Thank you very much. You are right, the Military Intelligence Service. Thank you, Hiroshi Kato, Rod Sekimoto, Bobby Arita, Jun Yamamoto, Richard Michaels, Francine, Carolyn Fukuda for answering all the questions this evening, and all the rest of you who answered them correctly. We really appreciate it. Brian, it has been a pleasure co-emceeing the event again with you this year, even though we are apart instead of being side by side. It's been a real pleasure, and I thank you for having me do this with you again this year.
Thank you, Deidre. It's been my pleasure. You know, folks, I cannot close without telling you the great pride and admiration that we have in our executive director and all of the time, energy, effort, and planning that she devotes to the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center and its programs and events like this one. We are also very proud and thankful for Melanie Agrabante, our research archivist. Thank you also to the very talented Mr. Alton Takiyama-Chung for his special presentation. And we express pride in our 2020 Hero Awardee, Chef Kyle Kawakami. We also thank you, all of you who are watching, and participating. We thank you for your donations, your auction bids, your ticket purchases, your visits. Without you, we could not have our operation. Thank you very much. And until we meet again, we leave you with the music of Derek Sebastian. Aloha.